All right, so are you ready to take a deep dive?
Let's do it.
Today we're going to be talking about Afterlife by Gayle Forman.
Ooh.
And this book, let me tell you, this book really kind of grabs you right from the beginning.
Yeah.
So it starts with this scene, right? Picture it. It's a perfectly normal day, right? Sun shining, birds are chirping, the whole bit. And we see this teenage girl, her name's Amber. She's just riding her bike home, like a totally normal, everyday thing. Except there's one huge detail that makes this like completely insane.
Okay, what's that?
Amber died 7 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's where we start. That's where Gayle Forman throws us into this story. And we're going to be unpacking what Amber's return means for everyone around her, like her family, her friends, and then also what Forman is trying to say about how we affect others even after we're gone, that whole legacy thing.
It's interesting, when you think about this idea of like life and death, right?
Mm-hmm.
The book kind of describes it as this porous veil, like this line between life and death. And it's not like this hard, totally separating thing. Like sometimes it's more permeable, it makes you think about those moments when you've lost someone. And the grief, it's almost like you can feel them still.
Right.
It's like this presence, this energy. Like, have you ever felt that kind of blurred line in your own life?
It's kind of spooky, right? Like the way Forman describes it. I mean, imagine you're Amber's mom, right? Going about your day, totally normal stuff. And then bam, you see your daughter, who you buried years ago, just riding her bike down the street. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that would be totally jarring. And it's not just about like that initial shock, right? It's like the ripple effect. Amber's return, it affects so many people. Think about her sister, Melissa.
Oh, yeah.
7 years, she's, grieved and tried to move on, built a life about Amber.
Yeah.
And suddenly, boom, she's back. And their relationship, it's not like they can just pick up where they left off.
Right.
They have to like re-navigate everything. But it's from this place of law and probably, honestly, a lot of resentment.
Oh, absolutely. Like if I were Melissa, I wouldn't even know where to begin. You know what I mean? Like relief, confusion, anger. It's all got to be swirling around in there. It's just such a mess of emotions,
Exactly. And there's Amber.
Right.
She's back in this world that's like continued without her, and she's not the same person she was before.
Definitely not.
So it makes you think, like, if you were given a second chance, knowing what you know now,
Mm-hmm.
what choices would you make? What would you change about your life?
It's a heavy question.
It is.
It really makes you like think about your own life and your choices. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. And Forman, she doesn't just, focus on those individual choices either. She really digs into this bigger idea, the impact we have on the world. Like every action, every conversation, everything we do, it leaves a mark on somebody, whether we realize it or not. That whole ripple effect thing again.
Exactly. That's the power of that porous veil, right? It's not just about Amber coming back. It's about the fact that we all leave this kind of presence, in the lives of other people. Even if we think our lives are ordinary, like Amber's,
Right.
they still create these ripples. And those ripples, they go way beyond our immediate circle. So it's like this book is challenging us to really think about what our own impact is. What will our legacy be?
That's some deep stuff. Really makes you think, But it's good to be reminded that even those small things, like just being kind to somebody, just having a good conversation, those little things, they can really stick with someone.
Totally.
It's definitely something to keep in mind as we go through our lives.
Absolutely. To me, the most important takeaway from Afterlife, it's this: cherish every moment and cherish the relationships you have, because they really do matter.
Yeah.
And that impact, it can last long after we're gone.
So we've talked about Amber's return and the ripple effects and this whole idea of like a veil between life and death. But here's a final thought for you to ponder. If you were given a second chance, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently? How would you use that knowledge to make things better, to leave a positive mark on the world? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Afterlife. It's been real.
Yeah.
Until next time, a 448.